Messianco, breaking Major League en la ciudad del sol. Here in Miami, we know who's el campeón. Leo my team, Suarez on the field, Alex wedding dating, como que ya es un win. The trio Fabi singing muchachos, las familias se escuchan los barrios. Esta camiseta pinky la llevan todos los guachos. Los rookies quedan sin comentarios. Messi ambetea, tiki-taki gol. El estadio Chase bañado en gloria y sudor. Aquí se ama y se respeta el balón. Florida es tu casa, acostúmbrate al calor. Estate listo pa' Messianco. Estate listo pa' Messianco.
Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday, and welcome to another live episode of Messi & Co. I'm Ashley here, as always, with my incredible co-host, Gian, and lots of exciting things to talk about. You know, we're obviously a little over a week, or almost now, a week and a half out of being champions of MLS. Had a great episode last week talking about it, and it's been obviously a really fun time to be an Inter Miami fan. And there's already off-season things happening, which we're going to discuss with everyone here. Before we get into all that, though, midweek, how we feeling, Gian?
I'm not used to these midweeks. We usually do Mondays. So
I know.
This is cool. I'm wondering how many people are going to pop in. But no, all is good. It's crazy. Like, you just got over a championship run where we have the chip finally, and it's like straight to business. There was no vacation time. It's like we're already making moves. People are getting signed. People are not getting signed. People are being let go. There's purchase options that aren't being picked up. There are people that are going back to their parent teams. It's like, it's a lot. The movement is quick. Like, between the last game and between when business starts is basically right away. So there's a lot to talk about. And I feel like every day we could probably do, I bet you that we can do an episode every day and there'll be some news to talk about. And
Agreed.
As always, with Inter Miami, the rumors are always there. Like, the best players from other leagues are always going to be linked to Inter Miami. But I'm good. I'm happy to be here. A lot of people are in the chat. I love that. We're always trying to figure out, like, what's the best time, and, you know, trying to accommodate everybody's schedules. And I'm happy that everybody's here.
I'm thinking the 5:30 is working well.
Yeah. Actually, what do you guys think? It looks like 5:30. Should we do 5:30 all the time? Should we do 6:30? Like, what works best for everybody? We see Boston.
Well, I know there's people from a lot
Anthony
of places.
Here, GP20, Mr. Fax, Anthony is here. So I'm glad you guys are here. This is awesome.
100%. And I mean, it looks like right now we have someone from India, because he said great seeing him here. So yeah, the Messi tour. Obviously we have a lot to talk about, and you know, we're seeing really great comments, which we're gonna, you know, who's gonna be joining. Where Anthony asking who's gonna replace Alba and Sergio Busquets. Well, I think we already have one. I think we have both replacements actually signed already. So we're gonna get into that in a little bit. But GP20 saying happy you guys having a great and safe holiday. Thank you, you as well. But before we get into the team, before we get into the news, obviously, like Luis Suarez and etc., let's start with the Messi Go Tour, because it actually started a little messy. Funny enough, obviously there's, you know, he's been planning, the team's been planning this trip for him to go to India. Messi, that is, and he's with DePaul and Suarez. And there's obviously been a lot of fanfare. The first event looked like it didn't go great, and it was a lot of people wanting to be there. Some you know, issues with the stadium, with the organizers, with politicians wanting to get their picture. But it seems like the events thus after have looked really great. And right now, Lionel Messi is a happy man, because he just won the MLS Cup. He's on a great team. A couple of his friends are still there and coming back. And so just overall, you know, I think I just want to say really quickly, like, we're kind of really lucky at this point, and it's hard, almost easy to take it for granted, because, well, you had him on Barcelona and now we have him at Inter Miami. It's important to remember he really is the greatest of all time, one of the biggest people in the world, and he can go anywhere in the world and attract thousands and thousands of people. So it is cool to see in that sense.
Yeah, I'm honestly surprised that he was in India, because I had no idea that was a planned trip. Like, I was seeing images of him, and I couldn't tell where he was. I thought, you know, in this world of AI, like, I was just, is this an AI image? I couldn't figure out. And then when I figured out, okay, he really is in India, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Really had no clue that was going to happen. I feel bad for the people that went to that first presentation.
100 game
Oh, because it was
idiot.
just
Yeah.
an absolute like crap show, awful. Apparently, people had paid like some people. I don't know if the entire stadium, but a lot of people were saying that they had paid over $100 to go see Messi.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's like whoever was in charge of that. It was more like you said, it was influencers that were on the pitch with him. It was actors, actresses, it was politicians, and they basically formed a like human shield around him where they were all on top of him, touching him, grabbing his hand, trying to take pictures with him. And at the end of the day, everybody else in the stadium couldn't even get a glimpse of him. And
Yeah.
he was there maybe like 10 to 15 minutes. And I also read that the person in charge of putting that all together, I think it was the promoter, what it was, actually ended up going to jail for that. And it just stinks.
Yeah.
You saw everybody in India with their apparently they're the big Argentina fans in India. That's who they root for. And obviously, part of it, they had their Argentina flags on, all their gear, their Messi shirts. And for them to go there with the hopes of, getting more time with him and that sort of thing and not being able to get that kind of sucks. Actually, not kind of, it really does suck. But like you said, at least from the news, it looks like everything else was better afterwards. That he started to go into different cities and that sort of thing. But it was cool. It's just part of him building his brand, I guess. His friends went with him.
Or maintaining the brand. Yeah.
Was there Suarez was there? I thought that was even more interesting. I'm like, what the heck is going on here? Like I didn't. Number one, the surprise was that Messi was there, and then after I seen the ball and Suarez there, and I mean, it's a cool moment for those that were able to appreciate that and spend some time there. I will say there was one guy. He was the only guy wearing a soccer jersey and soccer cleats and everything. They started passing the ball to Messi. He was
Yeah.
like awful.
I did say that. Yeah.
He was making Messi look like a ball boy having to run after his ball. Like when we were kids, that was, our friends would kick the ball over our heads and we had to run after it. Like I've never seen Messi have to chase after the ball like that in my life. It was funny. I'm like, if you're gonna have to pass the opportunity to pass the ball to Messi, at least brush up on your skills a little bit. I mean, that was
Yeah. No, I maybe the pressure got to him. The pressure of playing with the best got to him. But yeah, I mean, Tony's saying the tour was in the works for a month. They were planning a friendly against Argentina. That didn't happen, but they kept the Messi tour. And hey, they got two of the most popular Argentine players there in DePaul and Messi. So it worked out. Made the sports minister resign. Wow. But yeah, the second day onward was great. And you saw that that people really that Messi also really loves to be with the fans and loves to be with people and he's really kind and fun and all that good stuff. So we wanted to just really briefly talk about it because this is a Messi and Inter Miami podcast.
Ash,
Yeah.
is that thumbnail with him and the tiger? Is that AI? Or is that actually real?
No, that's real. That's real because I don't know why I know all this information, but there's basically one of the wealthiest families in the world. It's called the Ambani family. I don't know if you've ever seen in India. They have one of the most expensive buildings in the world. It's a skyscraper.
Is that the Taj Mahal?
No, there's a skyscraper in Mumbai, and it's like super, super tall, and it's like a $2 billion worth, and it's where this family lives, the Bombani family. Anyway, and I
And they just
remember
have a tiger in their house.
they had a huge wedding for the son last year, 2 years ago. Rihanna performed at it. I remember it was crazy, like the richest guy ever. But he loves animals, and so he has a conservation, like an animal conservation, because he does like all these things to protect wildlife and animals, and all of that to say. They met. Messi went to them at the conservation, I think is where they met, and so yeah, the tiger is real.
I'm just saying that tiger is a little too close for comfort from my perspective, and I'm just surprised that Yassine didn't jump in and tackle the tiger when that tiger went like that over Messi. Because, dude, like we talk. It's funny, like we talk about all the time as soon as off season hits. And we talk about like these preseason games and things like we're like, just make sure that Messi doesn't get injured. And then like 2 weeks after the season's over, he's playing with tigers. I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that, honestly. But he's safe and sound, so that's good. But I wasn't sure if that was real. That's kind of nuts.
Kind of a sick picture though, honestly. Like it is really a sick picture. But anyway, seeing some comment that was the chief minister of the state. I think Ron DeSantis in a football kit. That would be something. Yeah, I do think it is funny when people who are like either really rich or like politicians or this, without getting political, that they try and do sports or do things because they get the chance to, because it's like you get this amazing perk, and they're just not really good
Dude,
at it.
if
Also, sometimes like you see soccer players try and play basketball, like doesn't work. Like they do not have the hand-eye coordinate. Like they don't have like the mechanics, and it
that's
looks
always
so
the funniest
silly.
thing. Soccer players playing bouncing a ball with their hand is probably one of the
Yeah.
funniest things you'll ever see. But I mean, I want to ask you a question because apparently you know a lot about the
Mambani
Indian,
family, I just remember the wedding. The wedding was crazy.
but
You
and
should
it
look
looks
it up.
like in chat you guys know too. There was this one lady that really irked me in
Mm.
that first presentation. I think she was wearing like I don't know if it was a red dress or pink dress or something, and she kept going up to Messi and like trying to take she was trying to take like selfies with him, but she
Mhm.
had this face of like she was chewing gum on top of that. She was just chewing gum, like this face, like she was all cool, and she was just, like she just and then she posted after like, oh, with the greatest or something like that. But I don't know, she just gave me this feeling of like she doesn't even care who he is. She's just, all for
Imagine
the
it's like the
thing.
prime minister or something. I'm
I,
not
I
getting
wonder. I wonder if
involved in
anybody
that.
knows who that is. But yeah,
Chief
at the end of the day,
minister's wife. There you go.
is that it?
There
Oh
you
my
go.
gosh,
Mr.
she was
Facts
so
letting us
annoying.
giving us the
Like
facts.
I don't even know her, but within those 10 to 15 seconds that I saw her doing that, I was just annoyed. I'm like, I don't know who this lady is. I don't like her. Honestly, I don't.
Yeah, honestly, I'm gonna give you homework. You have to look at the Ambani family wedding after.
I
It is
will.
crazy.
I
The
honestly
guy
never
gave
knew
Messi a $1.2 million watch as a gift yesterday.
one. Really? See, these are the things you don't tell me to like when we're prepping for these. You need to tell me, like, I need you
He said
to
Messi Go Tour.
and you said Messi goat tour, but I didn't realize that we were going to talk about the family and where they live and that they own tigers. And I mean, I would
I
have done
didn't
more
think you'd
research.
find that information relevant. I would
I
have told
didn't
you
know.
beforehand. You would have been like, okay, why are you telling me this? So look, only 12 of those watches in the world. Well, I guess, the trip was fruitful for all the fans, for a lot of fans in India, and then for Messi himself, because he got it to have a sick picture with a tiger, got to
Yes.
travel with his friends, and got a $1.2 million watch and a lot of money for this promotional tour. So shout out to Messi. Stay happy. See you in a few months, King. That's what I have to say. Okay, now I think we've spent a fair amount of time
You don't want to
talking
spend the
about.
entire episode talking about this?
I would, because I honestly think I'm gonna do a deep dive on the Ambani family. I may do an episode on it. Let's talk about Inter Miami and what they've done. Outside of just their GOAT doing some travel. Made some big roster decisions. Now we talked about a few of them on our call. I'm so sorry, I'm used to my work meetings. On our episode last week, stuff like Cello going back to his parent team, Ian Frey signing a new contract. There's a few new players or existing players that we have coming and going that I definitely think we need to talk about, and all of that starting with the fact that I think as of today, officially, Luis Suarez has renewed his contract with Inter Miami for another year. So, how do we feel about it? Do we feel any different than we felt last week when we said, "Oh, it'd probably be a good thing because, it's good for Messi, it's good for having the leader, someone who can come off the bench and provide one of the best goal scorers of this, generation, etc." Are we still feeling that way?
I was actually thinking about that today from two perspectives. One is from a sporting perspective, and one is from like part of the players that you have on your team. It's like, okay, do you actually like them, like
Mm.
as a person and what they bring and their behavior and all that? I think it's two different things with Suarez, or maybe you can even break up the behavior in even more segments. But from a sporting perspective, you're talking about a guy that from numbers wise did really well for this team. He had, I believe it was 10 goals and 9 assists this season in MLS play and league play. I mean, to have a guy like that, and I'm assuming here, I can tell you 99%, I'm sure he's going to be on the bench, 99% sure. And I'm 99% sure that they only brought him back because it was a team-friendly deal, which Jorge Mas even said that at the end of the season was like, yes, we're open to bringing him back. It really depends on the contract. So a guy that had 19 goal contributions, the previous one, I think he had 20 something goal contributions the previous season, to have him on a team-friendly deal. He's a vet, and he's going to be on the bench for you as a guy that you can use whenever you need. I think that's a luxury that many teams wish they had. So from that perspective, I'm happy. Like, I'm completely fine with him being on this team. Now, if you tell me if I have a kid, do I want him being my kid's hero and my kid learning to play like, play like him? That's a different question. I don't necessarily want my kid, going to his U9 game and biting a kid on the back of the neck or kicking a kid in the nuts or whatever else. Like, that's a different story.
You're
Okay?
on one today.
Two different conversations. But from a sporting perspective, it's good. It's good at the end of the day. And, I had tweeted something out recently, and some people were saying, yeah, if you're assuming that that's the case, that he'll be on the bench and it's team friendly, that makes sense, but we don't know yet. I'm like, dude, if you just had this team play this good with this new play style with a Suarez on the bench, I think you'd have to be an absolute lunatic to change that going into next season and put Suarez back into the starting lineup. I don't think anybody's expecting Mascherano to actually do that. So for me, this is a really good signing for Inter Miami. And I think it's like, yeah, he wants to stay here. Yeah, he wants to, end his career here. He wants to play with his friend Messi. Okay, let's have him on the team. But I don't think it's like changing anything as far as like, oh, we won't be able to afford this player because he's here, or it'll change anything at the end of the day. So it's good. It's a plus.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I feel similarly. Going back in the chat, we have a couple comments. One is saying El Pistolero is back, which I love, because there is so much good that comes with Luis Suarez. I think that Anthony makes an interesting point, which is that, why are we keeping him on the team when he wasn't really producing and he was basically benched? Well, I think you kind of touched on a lot of those points, which he in his role that he was given, he did produce, and he was producing especially for the last 2 years for Inter Miami. The role he had this year,
look, you're gonna make me put my glasses back on here.
Different. The role he was asked to do this year was different, right? And so he wasn't asked to just be the regular number 9 out and out striker. He was asked to be part of the playmaking and helping his other teammates when he was playing alongside Tadeo Allende, who, by the way, is probably not coming back to Inter Miami. We'll see. He did his role, which was creating assists, creating moments. Probably could have been better, but and has slowed down for sure. But I think the value he brings, especially if it's a team-friendly deal, if he understands his role is going to be on the bench, mentoring young players, being with his friends, keeping the likes of the Messi and DePaul happy and enjoying, all 3 really good friends, and coming into games when needed to really make a splash at the end of this game. Those are all good things. And if we can have that be the outcome, then I agree. It's, you're trying to come back on your championship. You're trying to do it again, create a dynasty, whatever the case may be, maximize your amount of success you can have now. And someone who helps with that is Luis Suarez.
Yeah, I kind of want to dispel the narrative that he didn't produce, or as I saw somebody say online, that he had a tragic season. Suarez was 4th on the team in minutes this season, behind only Busquets, Alba, and Messi. Goals, he was 3rd in goals behind Messi and Suarez, and assists, he was 3rd behind Messi and Alba with 10. I mean, if that's not a stellar season, and that's despite Mascherano making him not a forward-running, a reference forward that you're going to always play the ball into, completely different than how Tata Martino had him playing, and he still produced an excellent season. Excellent season by far. So I just want to dispel that and say that he did have a great season. And when you have a guy that's in the top 4 in goals, assists, minutes played consistently throughout the last 2 seasons on your bench as a weapon that you can pull out whenever you need, dude, how do you say no to that? That's nuts. It's nuts.
Yeah. Well, I think those are good points. I'm bringing back what Chip said, that he can be a little bit of a jerk on the pitch. He is really nice outside of that. We both can attest to that. We've met him. We've had the opportunity to speak to him. Really nice guy. So it is funny when you see, like, when you think of his on the field antics and issues he's had, it is really funny because he really couldn't be a nicer guy. He's really, really nice. Um, Tony saying, I didn't really want him because the other antics, but this is a really great point. One that we haven't talked about yet, really. But there is the World Cup next summer. And Messi, as far as we know, and what everyone expects, unless something, catastrophic happens, that he's gonna be playing for Argentina, as will Rodrigo de Paul. And so they will be missing some time, and that will be part of what, the focus is. And I know there's gonna be a break in MLS, but with all the different competitions and knowing the length of the season, you're gonna need to have some good rotation, right? You don't have Alba and Busquets. You're not gonna have Allende. You're gonna have to have good rotation. And Luis Suarez is a great piece to have rotating, right? Because if I told you, our best 11 may be traveling or we're trying to maintain them for the season or they have the World Cup, we're going to go ahead and start Luis Suarez. So you can have your defenders, your A team or B team, cover Luis Suarez and try and stop him from scoring goals. Not an easy task exactly. Boss Daddy saying, it's funny to say, Suarez outperforms most DPs around the league. People are beyond crazy. Well, look, Inter
Yes,
Miami, we have
yes.
such a high bar. We have such a high bar, and we've seen the best of Luis Suarez. So it's true that he is performing really well. And if he can continue that role where asked and when asked and become that asset for Inter Miami to take them over the top, I think it's great. GP20 Rock saying it's great to have a long regular season Leagues Cup. It's got exactly what a great rotation piece to have, right?
Even though he
So
won't play in League's Cup, though, just as a reminder.
he won't play in the first
6 games.
6. Oof. I did forget about I forgot about that. It may
Yeah.
they may appeal it since he's signing back and everything. They may appeal it and try and get it shortened. That's a TBD. But overall, just in general, I agree with you. Having Suarez another year, as long as he's not expected to be the starter every single match and score 30 goals in the season, and that's option A, then I think we're in good shape.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, he's a guy off the bench. He's a guy that'll be useful for rotation purposes. He's a guy that'll be useful for in-game adjustments. At the end of the game, you got 15, 20 minutes left. You need a guy that can attack, but a guy that is going to be able to play smart in the end, and a guy that's also really good at distributing the ball, and you can play off of him. That's something that Macherano used him for this season. So yeah, I mean, I think it's great. I think he'll be very useful. And I know MLS will stop for World Cup, but before World Cup, there are going to be some friendly games where I'm not sure what that looks like from an MLS perspective. But if they keep playing during those friendlies, like some of these guys have had to miss games in the past.
Mm-hmm.
He's not on the national team, so he'll be able to step in, like you said, Ash. So,
and look, really similarly to what was for the Copa America last year, and it is the God honest truth, and I think it will be handled a little bit better, a little different, and the Inter Miami team is building for it. Messi's priority next year is Argentina. Like let's everyone, we can say that now, we can say it then. The priority of next year is going to be Argentina in the World Cup. I think he's still going to be excellent for Inter Miami. I think they're going to still build. He's going to play the majority of the time he can play. But let's just all remember it now. The priority is going to be Argentina. Same for Rodrigo de Paul. So it is important. It's more important than ever to be able to have strong, good rotation. Luis Suarez brings that 100%. So now,
well, I think that. Sorry, just to touch on that topic. I think it's his priority is always Argentina, but I think that this is a bit different as opposed to like the last 2 years. You're talking about the last 2 seasons. The last 2 seasons, you're talking about elimination, like Conmebol elimination games, right? So there was more of a heavier schedule there. You're talking about 4, 5, 6 games, 7 in a year where he was having to go and play in South America for these elimination games in Conmebol. Now you're talking about probably a couple of friendlies where he'll miss, a couple of games maybe just because of friendly. So I don't think he's going to miss as much. But
I'm just saying in terms of the priority in his health and wellness and like not to say he's going to shortchange Inter Miami. I'm just like, remember last season, it was like for Copa America, he was preparing his body and he had the injury before, but it was for Copa America. And I just think for World Cup, I'm not saying it's going to be like he's going to tank for Inter Miami. I'm just saying that it's a little bit of a caveat to, as opposed to this season where it was fully here, fully, every single game, wasn't that much travel, wasn't that much other tournaments or factors. Next year, the World Cup is a factor for everyone, every team, every star. You know what I mean? Like it's just
So are
that
you
is
maybe what you're saying? I guess just to make sure I understand, you're saying, like, let's say that we've even though if we have like a congested schedule, there may be games where he sits when you have a midweek game
right.
and you have back-to-back games or something like that. Is what you're
In
referring to, right?
preparation for the World Cup, yeah. Like he's
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
still play,
yeah.
but I think you may see him play like in 80% as opposed to 100% of the opportunities just before the World Cup.
Okay, I can understand that. But on the field, I will say I don't. I expect to see the best version of Messi we've
Oh,
ever
for
had
sure. When he's on the
because of the
field,
fact.
yeah.
Well,
No. He'll never
but
mail
because
it
of the
in.
World Cup, I'm saying especially he wants
Right.
to be 100%.
And at
He
the
wants to be
sharpest, yeah.
fully locked in and sharp, and and that's one of the reasons why he wants to stay competitive, is he wants to go in good form. So I think those are two things that live together. Is one, how will he manage his playing time to make sure that he doesn't overdo it, and then on the field he will give it his all because he
Mhm.
wants to be in tip-top shape for the World Cup.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a really good way to put it. I mean, Tony's including too. Like he may reduce away trips or turf games, for
Yeah.
instance. Correct. Like if there's a game where within 3 days, you have to fly to LA, let's say, or that's like Seattle or something, or playing in the New England turf. I think before World Cup, it may just be a little bit more monitored and a little bit, whatever. But when he plays, it's going to be at 100%. But all of that to say, same with Rodrigo de Paul. I think it's just good to have rotation and to have really strong pieces on the fields in your best 11 and then your best 5 to come off the bench, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
Suarez is
100%.
part of that. So let's talk about now the other end of the field. So we talked about Suarez as the forward. Someone, and this was a surprise that we found out today. Rocco Rios Novo is not going to be kept by Inter Miami and is being recalled from his loan, going back to his parent club, and that really surprised me because I thought he was one of the unsung heroes of the postseason and the championship. Was he came in for Ustari in the middle towards the end of the season, young kid, and he had a hell of a run. He was really outstanding goalie, and I thought, knowing the amount of other changes we're going to be seeing with the team, i.e., Jordi Alba, Busquets, Allende, I thought that he would be kept for consistency, and because I didn't think it would be that much of a strain on Inter Miami. So that does surprise me, and I guess we're going to see who they're going to replace him with.
Yeah, to me it was surprising. I have different theories as to why it
Mhm.
is. I just think it is very surprising. A guy that was really important in Inter Miami's championship run and played all 6 matches, had 2 clean sheets, only allowed more than 1 goal in one of the games. The other games where he didn't have the clean sheet, he had basically was 3 games where he's allowed only 1 goal. And
Wait. I'm so sorry. I have breaking news. Breaking news. That is about goalie, which is that Tom Boger just tweeted it. Inter Miami is nearing a deal to sign Canadian international goalkeeper who is obviously playing for Minnesota, Dane St. Clair.
oh
So
wow.
we may
Didn't know.
have a reason. We now have an answer why. Wow, we this is like getting a damn. This is such an American thing to say. I was gonna say a Woj bomb, which is such an Americanism for basketball. Or in this case, a Here We Go by Fabrizio, just the American version of it, or the MLS version of it. St. Clair, only 28 years old, was named MLS Goalkeeper of the Year. Uh, we've seen him play for Minnesota, really, really great, and for Canada, really, really great. Big signing for Inter Miami. So there's the answer, but I'll let you continue. Rios Nova was amazing, really great for us, but that's a good signing.
Yeah, so as I was saying, they obviously they didn't pick up Rios Novos because they were planning on getting Dame St. Clair is what I was trying to get at. So
Sorry, I interrupted you. I knew you were going to say that. You had known.
that's what I
All the
was about
comments
to say,
saying
that
it.
I obviously knew why they hadn't picked it up. It was very clear from the beginning because they had Dane on the radar. But
What a catch by Natalia letting us know, because I have my phone silent, so I wouldn't have seen it. So wow. Yeah.
okay, so what the hell do I say now? Then I don't.
Well, okay,
No,
I guess
but
we won't be talking about that much, but
yeah, well, I
welcome
guess now it's
Dane
not
St.
a
Clair.
surprise. It was a surprise before the news because again, you had a up and coming goalkeeper that you didn't expect to be your starter after you got rid of Drake Callender. You benched Ustari, who played a lot of games and who had a lot of experience with the team. Then you brought in Rocco Rios Novo. He started to play well. You had him during the entire playoffs. Again, played 6 matches, had 2 clean sheets, allowed 3 games with only 1 goal, only had 1 that had more than 1 goal. And then, not to pick him up and just to let him leave without giving the purchase option, I think it was a bit of a surprise. But then you also factor in the fact that they still have Ustari on the payroll at plus $700,000 a year in compensation, which is a lot. I
About
thought,
what I
again,
make, yeah.
like before this news, I thought it was like, okay, to me, it has to do with the roster rules, not because they didn't want him, not because they didn't think he was good enough. It was because of the fact, again, they owe a lot of money to Ustari, who I don't even know if they're going to keep. We'll see. And then they're still trying to build and bring in other high-class players. So they're trying to see where they can penny pinch, right? Where they can save.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're talking about bringing in a goalkeeper that started and played 30 games for Minnesota in 2025, and played really, really freaking well for them. And this is
really great.
A big signing for them. And now it's clear why they didn't pick up Rocco Rios Novo. They're happy, obviously, that he had a great run, but there wasn't enough, I guess, there wasn't enough data, enough of a sample size for them, just that run, where they can go ahead and say, you know what, even though we have an option that is a clear-cut, really good keeper, we're not willing to sacrifice that for a small sample size, even though it was a freaking good sample size. You're talking about a playoff run. So wow, that's big news.
Yeah,
very
Bogart
big news.
Tom. Wow, really good. Yeah, Natalia is right. Tom Bogart's a really big listener of the show. Had been waiting for us to say it.
Shout out, Tom. Shout out, Tom.
Yeah, no, I mean, and this apparently Minnesota offered him $1 million, declined, going to be hated even more. Well, the crown weighs heavy. That's what they say. The crown weighs heavy. If you're the best, everyone around you wants to be best. I know we were seeing. Ustari is most likely going to get bought out. I mean, I think the 700,000 will be not what they want on the books next year. We'll have to see. Guido was an option, but apparently wanted $2 million for it. Wow, honestly, the chat tonight. Shout out to the chat. You guys are really giving us the info we need. But wow. Okay, so that was a big breaking news. Dane St. Clair, welcome to Inter Miami. Excited to have you. We have seen him play for the last few years, and especially someone I like the U.S. men's national team. I've seen him play, obviously, for Canada a few times. Really good player. Has really good goalkeeper for Minnesota. Good to have him back. The team is just building. And with that, I'm going to transition now to someone else that we are building with and that we signed in the last few days, which is the replacement for Jordi Alba. And whether you can say or not, if you think he's going to live up to the replacement is another thing. But left back, who was Tottenham, Real Madrid, and Manchester United former left back, Sergio Reguilon, is now signed for Inter Miami and will presumably be the starting left back when the season begins. What are your thoughts?
I think you're never going to replace, nor did you think you were going to replace Jordi 1 for 1. That was a once, maybe in a lifetime, that you're going to see a player like Jordi play for Inter Miami. So nobody's expectations should have been that high. Now, Sergio Reguilon played for your Tottenham Hotspurs.
For a while.
Before that he came from Real Madrid, the youth academy there, and he played in Sevilla before Tottenham Hotspur.
For Spain, a
played-
little. He played in a
He
few
played
matches.
for
I'm pretty
Spain.
sure.
He
Yeah.
played after Tottenham. He ended up going to Atletico Madrid on loan. He played for Man U. He played for Brentford, and then eventually returned to Tottenham in 2024. But he really didn't get that much playing time. He actually wasn't even a part of the UEFA Europa League squad for them when they won. I believe they won, right? In 2020.
We did.
Yeah,
We did.
they did when he wasn't a part of that squad. It's crazy because I've seen you look on paper and he looks like a good player. I think he is a good player. He just unfortunately hasn't had, I think, the best luck because he would always come in and I think he had players that were better than him at times during those, where he went. But from what I've seen, I think he's a guy that's fast. He's a guy that can pass, not obviously up to par with Jordi, but he's going to be a top left back in MLS, in my opinion. Like he's pretty good, especially here for MLS level. So I'm happy with the contract. I am happy that he's not going to be a DP, which is important right now for us because we still have that one designated player spot.
Yeah.
And he's young too. Even though he does have some injury history, which is a little bit worrisome to me, I believe he hasn't played since like May of this year.
He's had some injuries.
March or May, I'm not sure, but he hasn't played for quite some time. Apparently, he's been keeping himself in shape. He's been training. So, from what I've read, he's ready to play. It's not like we're going to have to wait for him. But I will say he's still a young guy. He's 28. And I think that any other player that has played for the national team and that has played for these big clubs, maybe if it wasn't for players like Messi here, Rodrigo de Paul, they probably wouldn't think about coming to MLS yet at that age. He could have probably found some other European teams to play with. So that just speaks to, I think, being a champion here at an MLS team that's willing to spend. And I think he'll be good. I think he'll be really good for Inter Miami. I'm happy. I'm really happy about it.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, it is a really good signing. I think it's, especially in the Premier League, look, it's all relative because the level of play is so high and difficult. But even just as last year, he played for 2 Premier League sides in Man United and Brentford. And that's, started for them when he was available, came off the bench, has had some injury history, but technically very gifted, a good player. And I think for what our team is and what we're building on, can't replace Jordi Alba, but it's a good pickup of a good left-footed defender, and that's what you needed. It's a unique position, right? Like it's there's a lot of right-footed players that play soccer and play on the pitch and play on defense, but being a left-footed, technical, good left back is difficult. Jordi Alba did it very, very well, made it look very easy, but it's difficult to find at the professional level and in a really good, consistent way. So glad to have him. I think we're talking about who's going to replace Alba, who's going to replace Busquets. There is no like for like replacement. It's not easy to do, but I think we have already seen that Inter Miami prepared with Sergio Reguilon, and I would say obviously Yannick Bright in the midfield, kind of going to be those two pieces that we believe starting match 1 are going to be what this team is going to be building off of. And I think it's strong and a good way to go, and I feel like the team can continue the winning form with it.
Yeah, I'm sorry to do this, but I need to go back to something that it's in my mind. It's bothering me a little bit. I was just really quickly want to go back to the goalkeeper signing since it's like hot off the press really quick.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to do this and break everybody, but it's like, if you look at the numbers, like on paper, Rocco looks better. He really does than Dane. So I want to know like what you think.
But what about the team? Wasn't the team
Minnesota was in 4th place in the standings, and if you look at, for example, let's say the last 3 games they played, and granted, they beat Seattle.
I think he's a good goalkeeper. I've seen him play. Like I've seen a few of his matches, and I think he's really gifted.
But he got scored on 4 times. He allowed 4 goals against Seattle in the first game. He allowed 3 goals against Seattle in the second game.
Were they his fault?
I'd have to rewatch, but it's 7 goals in 2 matches. And then he allowed 1 against San Diego. But like, I don't know, that's a lot of goals. That's a lot of goals. And then if you go back to just the regular season, I was looking at some of those numbers like before the playoffs. Like in the last 4 games of the season, he had 6 goals against in 4 games. He
was the goalkeeper of the year though in MLS.
No, I know. It's just I understand. Like I agree that it's a good signing. I'm not saying it's not. It's just I thought it was interesting. Like I'm just looking at the numbers, and it's like when you look at those numbers, you would think that the other guy is the goalkeeper of the year, like the guy that won the final, the one that had 2 clean sheets and only allowed 1 goal in three games. I mean, in 3 consecutive, I think it was in 3 playoff games. Like I don't know. I'm just saying. Like you look at the numbers and the stats, and for those of you guys that are stats nerds, and I know it's not all like there's other things that add to the picture, but stats. I'm a big stats guy. Like you look at some of the numbers, and Rocco looks better. I'm just gonna say, but either way, I digress. I don't want to. But yeah, going back to Sergio Reguilón, like it's a really good pickup. And again, the fact that they were able to bring him in. And not have to use a designated player spot, I think is huge for this team, just because it allows them the flexibility to continue to bring in other high-value players, and that designated spot is going to go to a big name, I believe. So this defense looks really good, and also Noah Allen. Like,
Wait. Oh shoot! I lost the comment. Hold on.
You lost the comment.
Here we go. Is this going to be the big name?
Oh, geez. Okay, I want to. We can talk about that. Let me just say. With Sergio Reguilón coming in, it also is going to be interesting to see what happens to our center backs, because the thought process there was that maybe possibly Noah Allen could slot in as left back, but now you have Noah Allen, you have Maxi Falcón, you have Ian Frey that could potentially be a center back, so we'll have to see how that kind of messes with that. But are we talking Neymar? Are we talking about Neymar?
Talking about practice? Yeah, no, I don't think it's gonna be Neymar. I mean, again, it would be such joy to watch Neymar play for Inter Miami. I don't care about the injury history. I don't care about any of it.
Could you imagine Suarez, Messi, and Neymar on the pitch?
MSN.
MSN, but like MSN, like they're gonna have people like we're gonna need 2 people to push their wheelchairs up and down the field with
whatever. Yeah, but when that Neymar goal hits, he does a silky move. Him and Messi do the back and forth, and then you see. I'm just saying it'll hit strong, but more. I think maybe a little bit more likely. Still gonna be difficult. Anyone seen the rumors of Lewandowski? Yes, I have seen the rumors of it. Lots of rumors on it. Rossetti saying Chicago has the rights, never coming here. I will say it is don't they also have the rights on Neymar? So what do the rights matter at this point, honestly?
I hate discovery rights. It's honestly the dumbest thing I've ever heard. When I mean discovery rights, that concept of discovery rights is idiotic, honestly.
You don't need him anymore because now the owners are paying more. You're seeing more parity in the league. You're seeing more big names, more interest, more money, all of those things. I understand it was designed for when you were trying, when you're trying to get the parity, but you don't need it anymore because players are making their choice of lots of big market teams and doing what they have to do. Neymar percentage chances. Well, who would you rather? Okay, who would you rather, Neymar or Lewandowski? That's not a fair question. Who do you think is more likely, or do you think neither? Because who's going to get that last DP spot?
I don't think. Here's the thing with either of them. I don't think they fit the system. I think both of those players require a system change, a system that works. Obviously, we're champions. I think it requires a system change. You think about it. How did this Miami team become successful after Suarez hit the bench? Messi in the middle, false nine and 2 speedy wings running into space behind him so that he can put passes into. And that's how we won. Those are who are the guys aside from Messi that obviously always takes the spotlight, who takes the limelight? Who are the other 2 guys that everybody was like, oh my God, these guys are amazing? The 2 guys that were on the wings that ran in behind and were scoring goals and were playing amazing. And that's Allende and Silvetti. How does Neymar fit into that? Neymar is not a speedy guy. Neymar is not going to take, if Tadeo Allende doesn't get purchased, that's not a 1-for-1. Like he's not going to do what Allende did. And the same thing with Lewandowski. If you watch Lewandowski play all the time, like I do almost every weekend when I watch Barca play, he's not a guy that gives you speed. He's a guy that has to be in the middle,
gives you
of the field,
precision.
and you have to feed him. You have to feed him. And he's just there. He's a reference point. He's not a guy that's going to be running up and down. And we know that Miami needs guys that can run in behind space, but can also run back and defend. And neither of those guys do it. Now, are those names sexy? I'm not talking about the guys. I'm talking about the names, the players. Are those sexy names? Like you want? Yeah, of course. Shit, you know those jerseys are gonna sell like wildfire. You know, any Neymar jerseys are gonna sell out. Lewandowski jerseys are gonna sell out. But I honestly don't see how they fit on this team. My percentages that those 2 end up here are slim to none, less than 10%. And if Lewandowski was to come here, it would have to be probably next season on free transfer because his contract runs out like mid next year with Barca.
Yeah. Lewandowski's not very unlike him. We see comments about this. Is a good point though. Chicago does have a big Polish community, and it would make sense if he did go there. Fill seats in Chicago. Yeah, that's probably true. So yeah, Lewandowski not really, but Neymar, I don't know. I'm just saying that number 11 in the Instagram.
So how do you fit him in this? How do you fit him in here though? Like what do you like? What do you envision it looks like?
The vision is you replace. I mean, it's going to be him over Allende, but I think you can have Silvetti, you have Baltasar Rodriguez, you have other speedy people who will balance it. And then who are you if you have Inter Miami?
I think you're trying to convince yourself. You're trying to convince yourself that there's a way this works.
Going on offense and attacking, and I say, okay, well, you have Neymar and Messi passing back and forth right outside the box. Who are you defending? Who's getting 2 defenders? And then the other one is open. I'm just saying, look, it's not going to happen. But if you're saying, how can I make it fit? Oh, I'll make it fit. Neymar will be starting on that field, and you'll see, like I said, Baltasar Rodriguez, Silvetti, Rodrigo de Paul, Yannick Bright, all people who can be speedy, run and create, and leave room for Messi and Neymar to do something sick.
So in this new Inter Miami Neymar reality of yours, it is Yannick Bright who will do the goal scoring for the Herons in 2020.
No, it'll be Neymar and Messi who do the goal scoring, but I'm just saying the other players will be running and setting them up. That's all. Just understand the vision.
I don't understand the vision. I understand why you're trying to come up with the vision. You're trying to make it work. Look, here's what I will say about Neymar. Would it be cool as hell? Yeah, really cool. I don't deny that. How it'll work, I don't know. But that's not my job. I just know that if they bring him in, it would be mismanagement to use a designated player spot on him. In my opinion,
maybe not the designated. I agree about the designated.
Given the injury, like the injury on him, like you don't know. Yeah. You don't know if he's going to get injured in the first practice of the season. You don't know if he's literally that injury prone. It's crazy how injury prone he is.
He is very injury prone. No, I know it's fever dream. But hey, Harold said it. Speed up the midfield and let Messi and Neymar stay front and feed the ball to them and score. Agreed. I think you can do a 4-4-2, and you have. I mean, Silvetti will just have to have a little bit more, be able to do a little bit more running. He's going to have to be coming back, tracing back a little, but Let a girl dream. Whatever. It's just it would be cool. It would be fireworks. Yeah, maybe it only lasts for 2 weeks because of
It'll be fun for the 2
of
weeks.
the
Yeah.
because he's fragile and etc. But the fireworks we'd get for those 2 weeks would be so sick. I don't care. Worth it. I'll stand on this hill. Even if it all goes to shit, I'm telling you, that would be sick.
Yeah, it'll be a fun 2 weeks.
But I guess we'll see. Anyways, we didn't even get to everything. There's so many stories and news to talk about. We're gonna see continuing, like you said, every day Inter Miami, the roster changes, the signings, the people who are leaving. It's gonna keep updating and changing, and we're gonna keep doing episodes to talk about it. I will say, scheduling update next week. No episode because of the holidays. I'll be traveling, so I won't be able to do an episode. And time for family and time for taking a break off of work, rest, relax, whatever you're doing. Whoever you're with, just enjoy the week. But we will be back in the first week of the new year, and by then I think we will have a lot of exciting updates, and will be very interesting to see what this Inter Miami team do. Don't you think?
Yes. And I'll say this, and I won't promise it, but if more breaking news like this
If Neymar
comes
signs
out,
in next week, I'll do an episode on Christmas. I'll say that.
well, I'll look at this. We have the 22nd. That's a Monday. So if there's some more breaking news, if you're not able to, Ash, I'll jump on and do something on Monday. So as of right now, there's no plans, like Ash said, but we'll see. We'll see what breaking news
Right.
comes
If
out
the
between then and
news
there.
means we have to do it, then we'll see what happens.
We will. So, but we'll definitely keep you guys up to date. Was there anything else that we need?
Oh, last thing. Yeah, Ronaldo signing for Inter Miami. That was the other breaking news. That is how we're gonna end the week.
Ronaldo. What in the world? That is,
Can you
yeah.
imagine a world where Ronaldo and Messi played on the same team? That'd be
Honestly,
crazy.
I would not be a fan of that. I just think that it just.
I mean, it'd be impossible. You could never score.
No, I know, but I'm just
You would
saying.
never score because they will all be fighting over who scores, so it can never happen.
Just you talk about a rivalry that has been a rivalry of the century.
Great
You know,
rivalry.
it just deserves to end like that. There's no way that happens. There's zero way that happens.
No, I agreed.
It's-
Zero way. But would you
And I
like
don't.
Neymar or Ronaldo? Who would you rather have join Inter Miami?
Oh, Neymar, 100%. Neymar. I just think Ronaldo
I mean,
on
the
this
press
Inter
would never
Miami
be able to
team.
get into the stadium if it was Ronaldo, honestly.
No.
You'd never be able to make it through the front door. It'd be so crazy. But anyways, okay. So let's wrap it up for for now, right? We think probably last show of 2025. Again, if something drastic happens, we will do an episode. Been a great year, great season for Inter Miami. Ends with a championship. We've had so much fun doing the show. We're going to continue to do it. We have a whole new season coming up. So many exciting things, signings. Who's going to be that last CP spot? I don't know. Really exciting things to come. But yeah, I any last thoughts before we kind of wrap up? It's been great episode, great chat, great season.
No, this is awesome. I'm just happy everybody showed up today. You guys are all involved in chatting with us. I love that. It's fun. It's actually fun to feed off of everybody, and I like when you guys ask questions, especially some of these crazy ones, like asking about Sergio Ramos and asking about Ronaldo and Neymar. I love those types of questions. So yeah, and Sergio Ramos is not. I don't think he's 41 or 40. How old is he? I don't know. And then
We did get Sergio Ramos and Messi playing together on PSG with Neymar.
Thiago also from Fluminense. He's 42 and he's looking for another team, but we need young guys. But no, Ash, in all seriousness, this has been fun. This has been awesome. I love talking with everybody on here. It's fun to talk Inter Miami, and it's not something that everybody gets to do. So I'm just happy that we get to do it and that we get to call Inter Miami our team. We're champions. We did it, and we have a new stadium coming up, which is exciting. I can't wait to go to our new stadium today. I saw some updates. It's looking amazing. They got the what do you call it? The thing that surrounds the stadium that provides like shade and stuff, like whatever you call that. I don't know what you call that. The awning, awning. I
Awning,
don't know
yeah.
what you call it. Yeah, that's coming up already, so that's exciting. The stadium is almost ready. I can't wait for that. So, but yeah, a lot of stuff to talk about that we've been talking about, and hopefully we'll see. Maybe we'll have a Monday episode. Maybe we won't. Here's to Canopy. Thank you.
Oh yeah, agreed. All right, well, everyone, regardless, have a happy holiday, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate. Just thank you again for watching, for being part of the Messi and Co community, the Inter Miami community, however it is. We really appreciate it. We love it, and yeah. So for this episode of Messi and Co, I'm Ashley. That is Gian, and we will see you next time.